Growing up as boys and girls. Hello students. Now, here we will start a new topic, growing up as boys and girls. Growing up in Samoa in the 1920s. The Samoan Islands are part of a large group of small islands in the southern part of the Pacific Ocean. In Samoa, 1920, the children did not go to school. They learnt many things such as how to take care of children or do household work from older children and from adults. Fishing was a very important activity on the island. Growing up male in Madhya Pradesh in the 1960s. In this topic, we describe the partiality between boys and girls. Boys are free to do anything, but the girls are not. For boys, there is a playground to play, but for a girl, there is not. Girls are going to school in a group because they fear that boys may tease or attack them. There is no safety for women. Girls or women do work at their home. Valuing housework. In this topic, we talk about the work of women. Women do their work at home. They take care of family, children, the elderly, and sick members. People think that the work of home is not a very big thing. They think that it is the natural work for women. Lives of domestic workers. In this topic, domestic workers' life is that in which they are doing the whole work of home. They also use the home worker. They help to do a lot of work, sweeping and cleaning, washing clothes and dishes, cooking, looking after young children or the elderly. They start their work early in the morning and end to late 12 o'clock in the night. Women's work and equality. In this topic, we learn about the work and equality for women. Women want to work, but they can't go to work because of their children. Because of this problem, the government has opened an Anganwadi and Balwadi for children. In Anganwadis, women can drop their child and they can go to their workplace.
Gender equality.
I'm leaving Kalavati. The train is about to arrive.
Just 2 more rotis to make. You won't get any food on the train, and the station is barely a stone's throw from here.
If I miss the train, I'll lose a day's pay. My boss is a hard man.
I'll help Amma.
Your sister should be helping me. Instead, she must be kicking and punching away in the judo class.
Chakur enjoys it. She has become so strong and confident after she joined the judo class in her school.
Hoo ha! Hoo ha! Hoo ha! Hoo ha!
I'll love to help you, Amma. I'll pack the food for Babuji while you finish making the other roti.
A fine pair, you and your sister. Remember to keep some vegetable for your lunch. Give the rest to Babuji. Chakor and I will manage without it.
Chakur and you work so hard, perhaps more than me. Why should you not eat? The 3 of us can share the vegetable among us. Here, Babuji, you are all set.
Babuji, the train has reached the outskirts of the village. It's coming very slowly.
How do you know?
When I went out, Babuji was so worried about missing the train. So I climbed a tall tree near the clearing where I practiced judo. From there I could see the train coming at a distance.
My little monkey, your skills are proving very helpful for me.
And Ajay, your skills are very helpful to me.
Come Babuji, Bhaiya and I will run ahead with your bags.
Look how responsible my children have become. I'm proud of them.
Remember, girls and boys are equal.
Created men and women equal, and so they should be treated equally. Now let's watch a thought-provoking short movie. Welcome to Kannur, a small town in India. Reena and Uday have recently been blessed with 2 children, which are twins. They are happy and healthy. Dancing and singing, they are living their life to the fullest. Day by day, time passes and the children are big enough to go to school. So here is Rohan and Sheena's school to be. But wait, why is it that only Rohan is in school? And Sheena put into household chores and being denied education? This is not how the way that things should go. Unfortunately, limited by the culture, Sheena's parents decide not to teach her. Whatever the culture be, Sheena always took a great interest in her brother's studies. One fine day, her brother went out to play, leaving his homework incomplete. Behind his back, Sheena completed all his homework, and this was secretly watched by her mother. Quite amused, Rohan was wondering that who had actually solved all the sums correctly. He hurriedly went to the kitchen and discovered the fact that it was none other than his sister, who proved to be a math magician. After all, Sheena's hidden talents were discovered and her parents were really sorry that they couldn't send her to school. But now, finally and fatefully, Sheena also got the chance to get educated side by side her brother. Now let's look up to a few quick facts. Around 63 million girls don't attend school. In order to ensure gender equality, girls must be educated. In most countries, women only earn between 60 and 75% of men's wages for the same work. Each minute, 28 girls are married before they are ready. 1 in 3 women have experienced physical or sexual violence at some point in their lifetime. Women hold only 21% of the world's parliamentary seats, and only 8% of the world's cabinet ministers are women. The time has come for a change. We need to look for solutions for ensuring gender equality. We must give proper value to women's work. Consider pay transparency. Get more women in power. We can, we shall, we will. Stop the violence. Gender equality is a human fight, not a female fight. Nothing is impossible, so we shall for sure achieve it. Let's make gender equality a reality.
Now this is the Polity NCERT. We are going to look up at chapter 4, which talks about growing up as boys and girls. So by the name of the chapter itself, you can understand that we are going to talk about the gender differences that manifest in our society. We are going to see what is the difference when you grow up as a boy and what is the difference that a girl faces while she grows up. So all of the differences are going to be spoken about, because the class 7th NCERT, the first chapter spoke about equality. Post that we looked at the functioning of the state government, the role of MLA, how they are elected, etc. So now again we are going to talk on more issues that may highlight upon equality and inequality in the society. A boy or a girl. So now see, being a boy or a girl is an important part of one's identity, because your identical differences come from your gender. Okay, the society we grow up in teaches us what is acceptable behavior for girls and boys. So don't you see this every day? Like if I just ask you a basic question, even if you are not reading this chapter, अगर आपसे ऐसे ही पूछा जाए कि आप में और आपके सिस्टर में क्या डिफरेंस हुआ होगा while you guys were growing up, so you will definitely have a lot of things in mind. एक लड़के को हमेशा बचपन में यही सिखाया जाता है कि लड़के रोते नहीं हैं, which is so wrong, right? Rona is just an emotion. Crying is just an emotion, okay? And any human being can be emotionally intelligent or emotionally vulnerable. But why are guys taught that we cannot cry? Why is it okay if girls cry? Why do we always put people into boxes? This is the question. एक लड़की रहेगी तो हम हमेशा उसको शुरुआत से यही सिखाते हैं कि you have to get married off, you will go to another family. What we call as paraya dhan, okay? Which is such a bad way of addressing the very essence of girls. But when there is a boy, we'll always plan to make him courageous, we'll always show him around the offices, etc., because that's where we feel that a guy will belong. So this kind of differences creep into our minds from the very younger age, and this is society which actually propagates all of this and accelerates that thing in our mind. जबकि ऐसा नहीं ज़रूरी है कि एक लड़की हमेशा बड़ी होकर के एक हाउसवाइफ ही बने और एक लड़के को हमेशा यही मन हो कि वो he'll always be to the offices. क्योंकि आज हम लोग बहुत सारे ऐसे stereotypes को break होते हुए देखते हैं when we see boys emerging as belly dancers, for example, and when we see girls holding positions of the topmost CEO in the companies. Not all societies look at boys and girls in the same way. ये सारी differences आपको gender differences जो है rural areas में या फिर some of the states में ज़्यादा देखने को मिलेगी in comparison to other states. Growing up in Samoa in the 1920s. So we are taking an example of a place that is outside India. Samoan islands are basically a part of large group of small islands in the southern part of the Pacific Ocean. In the 1920s, what used to happen, that children used to not go to school in this area. They used to only learn the things from emulating their adults. Emulating their adults मतलब बड़ों को देख करके ये बच्चे सीखते थे, ये लोग schools नहीं जाते थे. कहाँ की बात कर रहे हैं हम समोआ आइलैंड की बात कर रहे हैं जो कि पैसिफिक ओशन में लोकेटेड है. यंग पीपल एंड ओल्डर बॉयज़ वर इन लर्निंग आउटडोर जॉब्स लाइक फिशिंग एंड प्लांटिंग कोकोनट्स. अब क्या देखा गया था कि जो लड़के होते थे यहाँ के या फिर छोटे लड़के बच्चे होते थे, इन लोग को आउटडोर एक्टिविटीज़ सिखाई जाती थी जैसे कि फ़िशिंग या फिर कोकोनट प्लांटेशन, क्योंकि ये यहाँ की बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट एक्टिविटी थी. लेकिन 14 ईयर्स के बाद क्या देखा गया कि लड़कियों को भी ले जाया गया फॉर दी फिशिंग ट्रिप्स. दैट इज़ गर्ल्स वर ऑल्सो बीइंग टेकन आउट फॉर फिशिंग विच वॉज अ प्रीडोमिनेंट एक्टिविटी इन दिस रीजन, एंड दे वर ऑल्सो वर्किंग इन दी कोकोनट प्लांटेशंस. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट दे वर लर्निंग टू cook and how to weave basket, etc. So this was the lifestyle in Samoa, whereby we saw that initially only people who were boys were doing the outdoor activities, but slowly girls began doing it. लेकिन apart from this वो लोग ने cooking और weaving भी सीखा. So this is how you grow up in different ways. Similarly, when you take example of Madhya Pradesh, 1960s में अगर हम लोग मध्य प्रदेश का देखें, so what was it like? Boys and girls used to go to separate schools. Even today you will see that a lot of girls are not given proper education. Why do we see that to marry off to a boy you have to give dowry? Why is there this difference? We are all humans, right? Why do guys not opt for anything as such, and why do we need to do it? Again, if you ask another question, you can always ask, why are there differences that are so prevalent in society that boys don't have to change their surnames but the girls have to do it? So there are a lot of issues that exist in that manner, and there are a lot of differences that the girls are taught since the time they begin growing up. There used to be a central courtyard in Madhya Pradesh where the girls used to play in total seclusion, like you can see here, and safety from the outside world, and boys school had no such courtyard. Matlab girls ko they are always trying to keep you aloof. Either they are not providing you education, and if at all they are providing you education, so they are trying to keep them away from the guys, etc. Difference between men and women. Valuing housework. Now what are the ways in which we see the difference between men and women? Across the world, the main responsibility for housework and caregiving tasks lies with women. Generally, when you think of a woman, you will think that she is the caretaker of the family, or she is the one who is responsible as a housewife. Even today, though we have office goers, okay, who are women, but still they will be expected a lot more to come back and do the household chores. Now, I don't deny that there are natural differences that come between being a boy and a girl, such as a girl will always be a little more empathetic than a boy. She will always have that caring attitude, but it's not necessary that a boy can never have it, and it's not necessary to teach guys that they should not have it. So this is the difference that we are talking about. Natural differences जो हैं वो रहेंगी, and nobody wants to deny it, but the gender differences that we create based on our preconceived notions, या फिर हमें pre-condition किया जाता है वैसे ही since the time of our birth, that is what is a mistake. Okay, it is also assumed that this is something that comes naturally to women. It therefore does not have to be paid for. Also, society devalues this work. How do you think a value of a woman is devalued in society? So when you speak about the national income concept, आपको समझ आएगा कि a lot of activities are included while computing the national income of a nation. But women, they work throughout, day in and day out, and they manage the households. लेकिन इनकी कोई accounting नहीं होती है. They are the people who are paid no salary and do the maximum work. Okay, so this is the kind of devaluation that we offer to women in our society. Respect to domestic workers. Many homes, particularly in towns and cities, employ domestic workers who are mostly women. Sweeping, cleaning, washing clothes, dishes, cooking, looking after children, looking after the elderly people are the tasks in which we employ women in the households. Wages are so low, domestic work क्योंकि is not valuable. Why do we pay such low wages to them though they do most of our work? Because we don't value that work. We feel that this comes naturally to women, and that is why we just try to give them the bare minimum for the very fact that they are coming to your home and performing some task. These tasks, although require heavy physical work, despite the hard work, their employers do not show them much respect. That means they are always discriminated against, and they are not paid anywhere close to the salary that or the wages that they should be being paid. Below is some data from a special study done by the CSO, which is the Central Statistical Organization of India. Now, this is a data which is as back as 1998-1999. So you can see here women paid work in Haryana 23, women unpaid 33 hours. So out of 50 hours, only 23 hours is what they are being paid for. 30 is simply gone. Men is 38, and just look at the unpaid. So men are hardly doing any work that they are not paid for. So most of the work that men indulge into, they are always reciprocated in the form of wages, salaries, or any other incentives. Similar is the case with Tamil Nadu. Now, just before we begin, I have just added this slide whereby I'll tell you about the Central Statistical Organization, because it's an important governmental agency. It is under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Very, very important. कैसे याद रखेंगे? Central Statistics Office है Statistics, तो Ministry of Statistics के अंदर है. ये क्या करते हैं? अब since statistics is mentioned, so they are responsible for maintaining a lot of statistical standards. It is located in Delhi. What are its works? So it accounts for your national income. It conducts annual survey of industries. It compiles your IIP. So IIP I have explained you in my current affairs lectures. If you have not been looking at the daily Hindu news analysis, you can please have a look at those lectures. अगर आप इस platform से prepare कर रहे हैं तो please do it in a wholesome manner. We will make sure we cover all the relevant stuffs for you, combining your static and current affairs portion जब तक आपकी exams close आ जाए. So this is something about the CSO. Please remember it. Women's work and equality. Inequality between men and women has to be dealt with tough actions, not at just the level of individual or family, but also by the government. So who has to unite in order to remove these gender barriers and gender inequality? We as individuals, क्योंकि ये हम लोग भी practice करते हैं. family has to be there, society has to be there, and above all क्योंकि government को पता है कि women are the vulnerable section, so they have to make laws that will help bring women at par with the men. Constitution says that being male or female should not become a reason for discrimination. So we have already read about it, whereby right to equality is a fundamental right, and one cannot be discriminated on the basis of gender, place of birth, age, race, etc. Okay, government is therefore taking positive steps to remedy the situation. Even if you look at workplaces, you will generally find that women are paid much less in comparison for the same work that men are doing. Men are paid much higher. So this kind of inequality is there everywhere. If you open your eyes and see it, you will see, yeah, a lot of it is being removed because we are trying to gain literacy, we are trying to read about the issues, the government has stepped up, we have also stepped up as a nation, so we are trying to remove the differences, and that is why some women are excelling in their fields. But if you look at the grassroots level and if you look at it in general, then obviously this distinction is very common. Steps taken by government so far: government has set up Anganwadis, child care centers in several villages. It has passed laws that make it mandatory for organizations to provide for creche facilities. So I will want you to read about the Maternity Act. Okay, this has been amended also of late. It's basically an act of 1961 as far as I remember, but it has been tweaked of late, and certain amendments have been made. इसमें अब जो women who were working in offices, they used to get maternity paid leave milti thi, so that paid leave has also been increased. So please have a look at the things that the Maternity Act has brought about. Provision of creches. Creches is basically a system whereby if you're working in an office, that office will provide a setup for all the pregnant and lactating women so that they can keep their child indoors. It also makes it possible for more girls to attend school. So through all of this, what happens, a lot of people who would have generally walked out of employment will now still continue being employed, because women have to take leaves during the pregnancy period. Okay, so if there are laws that protect women during this time, then the labor force will not tilt in favor of men as much as it would have been. Okay, equality is an important principle of our constitution. Therefore, we must treat and respect every individual, be it a man or a woman belonging to any age group. So here you have a very happy ending. So let's all work in the direction to make it seem like this. Okay, if there is anywhere that you find that this kind of discrimination exists, please raise your voices and speak up in favor. Already women are doing their bit, and with the help of a few men, it can obviously work wonders. So that's about this chapter. I hope you've got the basics into it. Thank you so much. If you like the lessons, please like, share and subscribe, and also share it with your friends who are preparing for the civil services. Thank you. Bye bye.